Now, we have been talking a lot about the last month or so about the financial crunch that AMC Theatres has found themselves in. A company that spent an awful lot of money to improve their theaters. They bought new theaters, they put in leather recliners, they developed their AMC A-List service for customers, and they went tons and tons and tons into debt doing all that stuff. And then just as they finished doing all that spending, and just as A-List started to turn a profit, the lockdown happened. AMC Theatres found themselves with no revenue and $5 billion in debt, and some financial analysts questioning whether they were ever going to be able to open their doors again. Now, recently, they were just thrown a little bit of a lifeline. They established a new $500 million line of debt credit, so that might be able to keep them afloat, as a matter of fact. A part of all this, though, was AMC, like several other companies, sent out a memo to all of their landlords across the USA, letting them know that until they're able to open the theaters again, they were not in a position where they can pay rent. They invited the landlords to talk with them to figure out ways they can work around it and make it work for everybody, because they're just simply in a position where they can't pay their rent right now. Well, that apparently is not good enough for one of their landlords. A mall in Florida has decided to sue AMC Theatres for the rent. But here's where it gets interesting. They're not just suing AMC Theatres for their rent, because to some degree, I get it. The mall, they're closed. They're not getting any income either. They're hurting too, and they're owed money from somebody, so they're looking to get money out. Should they have instead talked to AMC to try to work something out? Probably, but I kind of get where the mall owners are coming from a little bit. So they've gone to AMC and said, we're suing that. But here's the catch. They're not just suing AMC Theatres for the $52,000 in rent that they're owed, because that's how much AMC Theatres pays in rent at this particular mall. They pay $52,000 a month to rent the space there. No. What the mall owners have done is that they are now suing AMC Theatres for $7.2 million in the midst of all this problem. Now, what that is based on is that there's a legal principle that basically says this. If I owe you a certain amount of money, we have a contract. Let's say you're leasing, I don't know, the use of my pony. Let's say you're leasing the use of my pony.
Okay, John. Yeah, you gotta use another one.
I don't know.
If you talk about somebody leasing the use of your pony, you're just...
Oh, yeah, that's just asking for trouble. Okay.
You're getting a meme on that pretty soon.
Let's say you're leasing the use of my car. Let's say
Great.
that. You're
That's
leasing
much better.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. You're leasing, giddy up. You're leasing the use of my car. Okay, let's say you're leasing the use of my car, and I'm leasing it. We have a contract for 1 year, and I lease that car to you for $100 a month. And the contract is for 1 year. There is a doctrine in law that basically says this. If you default on giving me that $100 a month, I have a right to now come to you and say, I now demand the full value of the lease. Now you don't just owe me the $100 for the month you missed. You owe me $1,200. You got to give it to me now because you defaulted. So you got to give this to me now, or I'm taking the car back, sort of thing, right? That's basically the principle at play here. These movie theater, or the mall owners who are renting out the space to AMC Theatres are essentially saying to AMC, you missed rent, so we want the full value of the full remaining lease plus some damages, and they're calling it $7.2 million. Let's be clear here. They are within their rights to do this. However, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. This is ass backwards stupid of them, because let's look at it this way. You're hurting as the mall owners. AMC Theatres is hurting as a result of, everybody's hurting as a result of this situation. So what do you want to have happen? Do you want AMC to be able to make a comeback and get back on being able to pay rent? Or do you want to screw them over now, thus screwing yourself over a little bit later? You really want to screw AMC over now and then maybe threaten putting them in a position where they're not going to be able to resume being a good tenant and paying you $52,000 a month in rent? So to me, on one hand, morally, again, Going after them for the $52,000 they're behind on rent, I think that's questionable, but I get where they're coming from. For them to take that next step to go, we want to trigger this legal doctrine where we can get all the money from you right now, that to me just seems asinine from a moral point of view, but from a practical, in their own self-interest point of view, it seems backwards thinking. Aaron, we're talking about huge corporations, but this one in particular is feeling the sting here. What was your reaction when you heard about this situation? Do you see things from the point of view of the mall owners, from AMC? How do you look at this?
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida. No, this is not only is this morally reprehensible, it's just bad business. We all know that brick and mortar stores have been suffering for a while and have had to jump through hoops to get people to get out of their homes and go physically shopping. Neiman Marcus has just filed for bankruptcy, which is huge. Neiman Marcus was sort of the department store belle of the ball, and so it's not unlikely that other big stores like that, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, JCPenney, what have you, are going to follow suit. So malls, really, a lot of these places are only going to have their movie theaters there to drive traffic. I mean, you plan on going to the movies. Okay, well, we're going to go to the movies. Well, before we go to the movies, let's go to the restaurant that's next door to the movie theater and do that. Oh, well, you know what? While we're here, I want to go get a candle at Bed Bath & Beyond and maybe get, Victoria's Secret's having a sale. The movie theaters drive traffic to the mall for the other brick and mortar stores. So to not embrace and love the movie theater if you are a mall owner is just stupid. Like that's the one you want to really take care of the most. Because people can always shop online for whatever they want, whether it's a new product in a store. But if there is a movie that is only out in theaters, eventually people can see it at home, but they're not going to be able to see it at home right away. So it's really bad business. But also, they're potentially very close to opening the theaters. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, not super unlike Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia. And Georgia is opening tomorrow bowling alleys, hair salons, and something else.
Restaurants,
right. But very soon after that, the next rollout is opening movie theaters. If it goes well for Georgia, I'm not saying it will or it won't. If it goes well for Georgia, Florida is probably not far behind them in opening up their restaurants and movie theaters and bowling alleys. So this is a very short-term problem, potentially, for Florida. On top of that, the movie theaters, like I've already said, are the only real source of income that these malls are going to have to look forward to. But long term, what I say is, how about this, Florida? AMC declares Chapter 11 bankruptcy, defaults on whatever, all of their rent, everything like that, and decides to pull out of Florida and just open under a new name in every other state in the country. Can we do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're the one with the law degree. What happens if AMC doesn't go, okay, here's what is the full amount that they owe?
I think they said plus, I don't know what the actual amount they owe is, but plus damages, they're going after them for $7.2 million.
Yeah, in this time, it's ludicrous. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, look, I understand there is also a little bit of a predicament that the mall owners are in, because in law, precedent is actually, and sometimes unfortunately, very powerful. For example, let's say that dude who's leasing my car. Let's say that dude who was leasing my car, $100 a month, he defaults, right? And I go, now let's say, Aaron, you are also leasing another one of my cars, right? Different situation, but you default as well. Mm-hmm. If I want to now exercise my right to come after you for the full value now of the lease, you have a legal argument to me, man, that says, well, wait a minute. You had another situation with another person and you didn't go have them default. You didn't go after the full amount of the lease. Now, I'm not saying that's all powerful, but you got to be very careful when you're in this sort of a situation about what you're doing is setting precedent. I still think there's a way to work around this.
Force majeure.
Yeah,
Why can't AMC just call force
absolutely.
majeure and say, sorry, act of God, this was beyond our control? And I mean, that's what Warner Brothers did.
And just you know how screwed this mall is going to be if AMC declares bankruptcy?
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
they're totally screwed. Like again,
Yeah.
take the moral situation about really trying to screw it to AMC when things are hurting right now. Take that out of it. In the mall's own self-interest,
They have nothing else that's generating as much revenue. I guarantee you, nobody's buying that many candles.
Yeah, not right now. Not right now. So the question here is, guys, for you. What do you think about this situation? Again, it's easy for us to look at it from the point of view of the people owing money, like AMC here, and not the people who are being owed. But I mean, it is a little bit tricky, but to me, it seems like it is in their own best self-interest to work with AMC rather than screwing them over. I don't know. What do you guys think? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.